Good afternoon and welcome everyone to our cybersecurity presentation. Glad you could join us. So before we begin, I just want to let you know we welcome questions that we will answer at the end of the presentation. So at the bottom of your screen, you have a chat option. So if you want to click that and type in your questions, we will gather them and answer them at the end. Or if you have any trouble with that, you can just email Heather at habbott@ionbank.com. It's HABOTT@IONBANK.com. Thank you and enjoy the presentation. And here's a word from our president, Dave Rotatori. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is David Rotatori. I'm the president and CEO at Ion Bank. Welcome to the virtual cybersecurity seminar provided by our team here at Ion Bank. As we celebrate our 150th anniversary, I'm proud that we can continue to stay true to our mission of serving our customers and our communities, even during the most unusual and challenging times like today. As part of our mission, we believe education is an essential service, and as your bank, we want to help you protect yourself and your company. We all know that hackers and bad actors, they don't rest, and they continue to try to take advantage of people even in these times. So we need to continue to be extremely diligent and make sure we do everything we can to prevent a breach. Good practices surrounding cybersecurity continue to get more complex all the time, and that's why we're very lucky to have two outstanding individuals with a ton of expertise to help us both prepare. Bob Votes is a 27-year veteran police officer in the fraud unit and helped establish the first computer and technology forensics lab. He sits on the board of several different organizations, including the International Association of Financial Crimes Investigators and several others. I've actually lost count of how many times Bob has helped identify and recover funds for customers who otherwise would have lost significant sums of money. We also have Suzette Leal. Suzette is our Vice President and Information Security Officer. She has over 20 years of experience in the financial services industry. She is a certified information security management, and some of her responsibilities and expertise include business continuity planning, technology risk assessments, and application security. Suzette is also very active in many associations, including the Association of Continuity Professionals, InfraGard, and FS-ISAC. Please enjoy the webinar. Suzette, take it from here. Hi, everyone. My name is Dave.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to go through what you need to know as far as cybersecurity and keeping yourself and your business safe. Heather, next slide. What can you do to prevent online fraud and theft? We're going to go through safety precautions for internet banking and shopping, how to avoid identity theft online, and how to avoid coronavirus scams, which are so prevalent today. Next. We're also going to go through protecting your cyber home with a solid foundation. We'll go through some simple, secure steps on how to secure your computers, your mobile devices for internet banking and shopping. Next. Let's think about it. Think about all of the access points you have to and from your computer today. Internet connections, email accounts, and wireless networks. These will always need to be protected. Otherwise, it is like having your front door wide open while you're away so that anyone could come in and take what they please. And I don't think we would like that. Next slide. So let's consider some strategies. Take extra precautions for logging into your bank accounts. Make sure you're using strong passwords and user IDs. And don't use the same password for different accounts. Keep your user ID and password secret, and make sure you're changing them on a regular basis. Make sure you log out of your online banking accounts when you complete your transactions, and lock your computer when you walk away. Next. Consider using a separate computer, if you could, solely for your online banking or your shopping. Purchasing basic PCs and using them only for banking online and not web browsing, emailing, social networking, or playing any kind of games or any activities that would make you more susceptible to malicious software, as we know, malware. Take precautions if you provide account information to third party online. Make sure you have make sure that they are legitimate accounts and people that you're talking to. Periodically check your bank account for signs of fraud. Let's be aware of phishing scams. Don't take the bait. Identity thieves like to go phishing. They want to go out on the internet and find out customers and consumers' personal financial information by using fake emails, websites, tricking people into providing their personal information such as social security numbers, your bank accounts, etc. And right now, the most common phishing attack is all surrounding coronavirus, and we'll go through some points on that next. So, to avoid coronavirus scams today, don't respond to text messages, emails, or calls about checks from the government. Ignore those online offers for vaccinations and home test kits. Hang up on robocalls, whether they're on your home phone or your mobile device. Watch for emails claiming to be from the CDC or the World Health Organization. And do your homework when it comes to donations. Later on in the slides, I will have a web links that you can go to verify these charitable organizations. And be suspicious if someone contacts you unexpectedly online and asks for any kind of personal information. Only open emails that look like they are from people or organizations you may know. And even then, be very cautious if they look questionable. Here are some basic security tips we want to offer you and to make sure that you're doing, and keep your software up to date by making sure you're applying those Microsoft patches or anything like that, and making sure you don't have outdated software installed. Install antivirus software that prevents and detects and removes malicious programs. Use your financial institution's online banking platform only to help prevent unauthorized access to your PC. Only use security products from reputable companies. Take advantage of internet safety features. Be careful where and how you connect to the internet. For example, don't use public Wi-Fi to make your purchases or do online banking. And here are 5 things that the FTC has listed to help you try to avoid coronavirus scams. These are the same kind of examples that we mentioned in the previous slides, by ignoring offers for vaccinations and home test kits, hanging up on robocalls, whether it's on your mobile phone or your home phone. Watch out for phishing emails and text messages. Be leery of what it is that somebody's emailing you or texting you. And research before you donate. Here is the website you could go to through the Federal Trade Commission to verify those charities if you want to donate. It has extensive lists of ones that are fraudulent and some that are good. And stay in the know. If you want to know anything about the coronavirus, you would go to the ftc.org URL here, and you can also subscribe to receive alerts on scams or anything like that. You can also go out to the ftc.gov and initiate complaints if somebody should send you a scamming email or call. There's also one more thing I'd like to mention, and that's in regards to credit freeze or security freezes. It's important that you guard your information, and a security freeze is designed to prevent credit, loans, and services from being approved without your consent. You could go to any, and you should go to all 3 of the credit bureau agencies, which is TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. And you would go to their website, you just click on a link, you put in your information, and it freezes your credit at that point. You could also do that not only for yourself, but a loved one or somebody underage in your household. It also, it's a good thing to do. You just have to remember that you would need to unfreeze your credit when you're going to apply for a loan or anything that requires your credit to be searched. And then you could freeze it back up. This is a free service. It's a great service, and it doesn't cost you anything. And they will supply you with a PIN that you're going to have to safeguard and make sure you have it every time you go to unfreeze or freeze your credit. And again, I hope that this was useful information for you, and I wish everybody the best. And Bob, take it away.
Thank you. Just next slide, please, or give me control. Okay, hi everybody. I just want to follow up on what Suzette was just talking about, credit freezes. A lot of times people ask me questions about should I pay for this type of credit protection that will notify me if my social security number was used to open a credit card. And that's a monthly charge every month. The credit freeze you do once, it's no charge. and they can't open credit in your name. It will be denied. So there's nothing to fix later on. So again, you know, if you can pay for service that will help you fix your credit later after it's been compromised, or you can put a freeze on it, which costs nothing, and there's nothing to fix later on. And of course, it's not cooperating. So the first thing I want to cover is elder abuse. I want to start off with this story. So you got to imagine, I was a cop in West Haven for 27 years, investigated financial crimes. And my mother-in-law, who's 83 now, would be warned about every scam imaginable out there. And you figure that she wouldn't become a victim. Well, one day my wife gets a phone call, and it's from her mother's cell phone. And right away we became alerted, afraid that something happened. Never uses her cell phone. And when she answers, is my mother-in-law talking on the phone in a whisper. And she's telling us how she won the Publishers Clearinghouse and how she can't tell anyone and how she has to send $2,500 for taxes so she can get her payment for the Publishers Clearinghouse. And of course, we all know on the phone that we don't have to go any further. That was a scam. Well, all the warnings I gave her was thrown out the window when she thought she was a winner of Publishers Clearinghouse. Of course, she wasn't the winner. And of course, if she sent the money, she would have lost. And why do they pick on seniors? They pick on seniors because they are trusting. They seem to be trusting. Some type of maybe cognitive decline. They don't think things through. Maybe they're having problems with their bills and think, here's the answer to my prayers. Isolation or loss of loved ones is a big one. Not only on just a normal scam, but also on romance scams as well. Most victims recently had a recent loss of a loved one. So the grandparent scam. So we've probably heard about this in the past. You'll get a phone call and maybe it's a bad connection and you hear something like, you know, grandma, grandpa, it's Johnny, I need some help, I need money, I'm arrested. And then they say, well, it doesn't sound like Johnny. And they'll say, well, because I was in a car accident, I got a broken nose, or I have a cold, I'm sick. And they believe them. And then they're asking for money and don't tell my parents. Why don't you want to tell the parents? Because if you tell the parents to let them know, the parents are going to say, well, Johnny's home here sleeping in bed. He's not in trouble in Canada or Mexico or across the nation somewhere. I can't tell you how many times we have people come into the branches that want to take out money. And, you know, we try to know our customers and maybe have a conversation and learn that, yes, we have to send wire out to help Johnny, who's in jail in Mexico. And we convince them to make a phone call, and they call Johnny's parents up or Johnny himself and find out that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them at all. So grandparents, red flags is always a distress. Always keep it quiet, keep it secret. It's always going to be a request for money or even gift cards. Just don't do it. What do? You stay calm. You ask a personal question. Johnny, how's your dog doing? And what's the name of your dog again? Try to, think of something like that. So then they can't answer that question. Don't wire money. Don't purchase gift cards or game cards. Hang up the phone and call the person, and we'll probably get them, and they'll probably be okay. Another big thing we've been running into lately is online loan fraud. Again, the Federal Trade Commission is a great resource. That website is ftc.gov, so make sure you put gov at the end. If you hit ftc.com, you'll get Feed the Children, and they're going to ask you for a donation. So a lot of times you apply for a loan online because you have bad credit, and you look at these loan where no credit needed, no credit report pulled. Maybe there's fees involved that aren't, if it's halfway legitimate, maybe there's fees involved that aren't prominently displayed. Call us up, we'll do a loan offer. What happens a lot of times with these loans is that they want to give you a good faith deposit into your account, and they want your username and password for your online banking. They already have the answers to your security questions because you filled out the loan application that includes, of course, your social security number, your mother's maiden name. And then they make a deposit for, I don't know, say $1,000. And then they want you to go buy gift cards or wire the money back to Western Union as a good faith effort. And what turns out later on is that that money, that deposit was maybe a counterfeit check that was later returned unpaid. So you sent the money out to the fraudsters, and now you owe the bank money. Check for lenders who are registered in the state, get their name, make sure they're registered with in the state. And if they ask you to wire money or pay a particular person, it's going to be a scam. All right, you shouldn't have to pay anything up front, maybe an application fee. But again, check the Better Business Bureau, check Online Banking Commission, and make sure that they are registered with the state and have a good, trusted business with the Better Business Bureau. Romance scam, another one now is very prominent now with everybody being home. We have customers that are lonely, they're isolated, they're in the home, they're online, they're on social media, they meet someone online, and they're falling head over heels with this person because this person is telling them everything they want to hear. They're feigning romantic intentions, they're gaining their affection, they're using the goodwill and good people to commit fraud against them. They may want to have access to your account. Again, username and password for your online banking. You never give that to anybody. Not even someone is calling from the bank and say, we need it. You don't give it to them. You don't give these people the bank account information, your credit cards, any copies of your passports, because they'll use it to make counterfeit ones. So security numbers, obviously, you don't want to give them. And they'll be persistent. They'll say, no, you don't love me. You don't trust me. You're right. Don't trust them. And be very, very careful. And if you get a call from me and I say, hey, well, you're just expecting a deposit into your account, don't lie to me and say, yes, I did that myself, because we see the IP addresses will come back to Romania, Nigeria, maybe all over the country. And you don't want to tell us the truth because you're afraid that you're going to hurt your loved one. So just be careful with that. Don't send money to anyone, and be truthful with the bank or law enforcement. Another one, the lottery and sweepstakes scams. We've already seen this. Have you played the Australian lottery? No. Well, then how could you be a winner? You might get a text message someday saying that you won. You might have a pop-up on a website that you're on saying you won a Walmart gift card, click here. It might look legitimate. They might send you a check, but they're always going to ask for money back or for you to send money to someone else. And that's going to be a red flag. You never, ever want to do that. The check they send you, even though it's probably be a bank check, is going to be counterfeit and will come back unpaid, and you will be a victim of a scam, and you will be out the money. Another one now, the felony laying gang. So what's the felony laying gang? It's a group of people that are basically out of Florida, that they travel the nation, and they go to places where there might be a pocketbook, a wallet, in a vehicle left unattended, such as at the gym, at a park, and then some places where you might not be back for a while. So they smash the window of your car, they take your pocketbook, and they get your debit card, they get your driver's license, and they get your checkbook, and maybe your social security card. If anyone has their social security card in their wallet right now, let's just stop what we're doing and take it out and lock it up. I don't know how many times we get reports that someone's car was broken into, and not only is their driver's license and debit card and checkbook stolen, but also their social security number card, their spouse's card, their kids' cards. They do not belong in your wallet or in your pocketbook. They should be locked up. So if you have it there now, please take it out and lock it up. And what they do is they take your check and they'll cash it at another bank using someone else's ID, or take your ID and cash someone else's check at the bank at the last lane with a wig on, with big sunglasses on to look like you, and then they get cash, and then the checks will come back later. So if this happens to you, make sure you call your bank immediately. They'll put an alert on your account to check for ID issued after such and such a date. So if someone comes in with your driver's license that was issued prior to today's date, is going to be a fraud. And you'll have to go get a new driver's license, which is probably hopefully the worst thing that you have to do, which is probably hopefully the most painful, and you won't be a victim of any fraud. Another big thing is the business email compromise. So I'm going to go over a couple of things what you need to know. And the biggest thing is education. You know, the FBI estimates that there's a 436 increase in fraud losses, and their latest numbers for 2016 was $3.1 billion, and that's what only reported, right? In 2019, 177 billion, which isn't too bad, with 23,000 cases. It's getting harder and harder to determine what on a business email compromise, what is a legitimate email or not. If anyone ever says, change the wire instructions to this new bank that we've just changed, if you have any questions, call me at this number. You want to call that company, but not the number they gave you in that email. You want to call that company a phone number that you know that's in your, ready for this, Rolodex maybe, or a Google search, and you call that number and verify with them that this is definitely true. You don't know how many people become victim of this. Pay an invoice. Maybe it's only a $500 invoice, but $500 adds up from all the victims they get. Or it's a $230,000 wire out for a house closing to a different bank, to a different person from an email. The emails usually say they're, chief financial officer or an attorney for a closing. They usually piggyback off of a legitimate email. I don't know if anyone realizes that when you send an email and it's not secure, it's like sending a postcard. So what's a postcard? You can read everything on it, front and back. So you can intercept these and you can piggyback off that and send it back to these people so it looks legitimate. Or you can send, have hacked the email account and have the username and password, and then forward it to that person with a different return address, which the other person doesn't realize. And the conversation can go on and they can convince you to change the wire information or ACH information. So some techniques. So I don't know if anyone's ever set up an Outlook account themselves here. You go out and you fill out the information. Who do you want this to say it's coming from? And you can put anything you want on there. I can put, Mickey Mouse on there and put a fake email address that it's coming from. And then you can say, who do you want it to be returned to? So when they reply, where do you want it to go? It could be a totally different email address. Some of the things they do is they'll change characters in an email. We don't take the time, everybody is guilty of this. We don't take the time to really, really look at things, especially if it's piggybacked off of conversations we've had already, where the return email might be something similar to what it really came from. For example, scams 86 could be changed to scam 086, or they can change the font. Where the top one there where it says sales@freemail.com, if you change it to Arial and you change, that's a couple of the ways of tricking you to thinking that it's a legitimate email. Avoid, if you have a company, avoid free email accounts. If you have a .com registered, spend the money and get your email registered with there and get the email service through that. So you'll be ABC company, abccompany.com, at abccompany.com. Don't list email addresses as much as you want to on the internet, because people will crawl the internet and get email addresses and send you fish and different type of miracle cures to try to get you to grab the hook on that one. Be suspicious of requests for secrecy or pressure to take action quickly. If they said, I need this wire right away, or I need you to go out and buy these gift cards right away and give me these numbers, be suspicious of it. We had a case where we had a money mule, a person unwittingly knowing, they answered a job online, unwittingly knowing that they were getting money that was from a business email compromise deposited into their account. I had called the company, it was a car dealership in Canada, and it had to convince them that they were a victim of a scam. It took me probably like 2 or 3 days and several phone calls to convince them they were a victim of a scam. And they said that I can't get hold of our CEO because he is in France. He's on a trip to France and I can't get hold of him. Well, probably what happened was that CEO from this company probably used free Wi-Fi at the airport on his way to France and probably logged into his email. And that's how they got his information and were able to commit this crime. And what we had them do was to use FaceTime the CEO, so you see their face, so you know it's really them, to confirm that it was a fraud. And of course it was. And we were able to return $36,000 to that company. The lady was very appreciative because she thought she was going to lose her job. So you be careful. Anything that you have to take action quickly or some type of pressure, be careful with. Always out of band, always out of email, contact that person on a phone number that you know, not something in an email. Obviously, don't click on links in emails, especially if it's from someone you don't know. Independently verify. Don't reply to an email with instructions or phone number or call a phone number in an email or an email address. You can reply by forwarding the email to your recipient with you typing the email. So if you get an email saying, hey, change this wire instructions, forward it to that person, you type it and ask them. But again, phone is the best way to go. Look up the number in your own contact list or go to Google or another search engine. Any questions, you can text them or chat to Heather and she'll take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
While we're waiting for questions, a couple of other things I could is trial offers. A lot of people become victims of trial offers. You'll see this, you can buy this miracle cure for whatever for $9.99, just pay ship. And the fine print on the TV screen will be, by getting this, you have to return it within 8 days or a very short period of time, or else you're submitted to a subscription to this product and that you'll be charged, $500. Or, you place this order for a free offer and you agree to the terms and conditions and no one clicks that link to see what the terms and conditions are. And those terms and conditions are, you're getting subscription to this product and 5 other products and you're going to be charged $300 a month. So if you want to do a free offer, read the terms and conditions. And we'll just go back to elderly fraud for a second. Just let you know that 90% of fraud against elderly happen from a family member. So just be careful of that. 90% is from another family member for elderly fraud.
Yeah. And I just want to emphasize, just be careful with links, like Bob mentioned, within the emails and things like that. You could always go directly to that company or whatever website to verify the legitimacy of what it is that you're reading or you're looking to get information on. Links are probably the easiest way nowadays to download any kind of malware onto your computers. And I can't stress enough that if you're using that computer for your business, say your wire transfers or anything like that, make sure that's all you're using that computer for, is your online banking. Don't use it for social media and things like that. That's basically how one of the doors or the avenues for malicious software to be downloaded and hackers to get in. So just be cautious with things like that. Pay attention to the emails that you're getting. Be vigilant to things that you're answering. Like I said, if somebody's contacting you, make sure it is legitimate. Make sure that you question, ask for a phone number, I'll call you back. Things like that. Just don't take for granted that they're on, working for good faith, because a lot of the times nowadays they are not.
Hi, Suzette and Bob. I have a question that came in. If you do click on an email and realize it was not valid, what can you do? I always run my antivirus, but just yesterday I clicked on a government email because I received government emails, so it was easily mixed in. Should I get a new email account?
No, if you didn't click on any links or anything within the email, what they're looking for is for you to reply back and possibly give them the information that they're looking for. If you didn't click on any email links or anything within that or supply them with any information, you should be okay. What they're trying to do is lure you to read and to respond and hopefully give them some sort of personal information.
Just also with that, just make sure you didn't click on attachment within that email.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll put an attachment and they'll say,
right.
This attachment can't be read. You'll need to load there and ask you to download something, and we'll send you a download time player, but it's really not downloading that. It's downloading malware.
Right.
So, and you click on a link, if it says you have to download something, stop it. Don't let it download.
Right. Any more questions?
None at this time.
Okay. We'll give it maybe another minute or so. Give people time to type in their question.
So while we're waiting, I can go over a money mule. So you see these signs up in these advertisements to work at home. A lot of these jobs are jobs where maybe accounts receivable for someone, and you'll have money or wires or checks being deposited into your bank account, and then you'll have to take money and wire it out. Hopefully that you'll understand that it's probably a scam, that there's services that legitimate companies do for this, that they don't advertise, private people to do. Again, another example, my niece, who is in her 40s, applied for a job online. Her kids are just going back to school, and the job was work from home. We'll supply the laptop. She took a test. She passed all the tests. They sent her a check, and take this check. It's your first week's pay. Send the rest of it to someone to give you a laptop. And she does it. The check comes back counterfeit. She's out the money. She didn't get a laptop, and obviously she doesn't have a job. So, it hits all walks of life, from young to old. No one's immune, especially with the economy now, no one working, everybody on unemployment, everybody looking for loans, looking to make ends meet, needing a little extra money. You have to be really careful about these jobs online. And it's just not random stuff. You'll find them on these job boards too, these big name job boards. You'll find these scams there as well. So you just have to be extra careful. If someone wants to send you money, say, no, you send it to that person yourself, and then I'll go get the laptop.
Yeah. I just want to mention really quickly, if you happen to have your screen in full view mode, you may not be able to see the chat window unless you run your mouse over the bottom or wherever it may be. The bar does disappear. So maybe a few of you are having a hard time trying to find the chat button.
Even if you want us to go over something again, just chat.
Yeah.
Want something clear? I have a habit of going much too fast.
I do too. Guilty of speaking fast.
Yeah.
Another question has come in. Is DocuSign safe for sending account numbers?
I don't know nothing about DocuSign.
Well, DocuSign is a legitimate company. It has been known to be breached and used for, mouse services, we'll say. It is safe as long as you know that the other person receiving that personal information is, a financial institution or somebody that you have confidence in receiving those docs back and forth.
Yeah, the bottom line is, were you expecting to get something from
Right.
DocuSign?
If you're not expecting to receive something through there, then no, I would not open it. Or I would verify from the company or the person who is sending it to you, did they actually send this to you? We've had many documents come through that people would think it's from DocuSign, and like Bob showed you earlier in the presentation, they changed the formatting of where it's coming from and what it looks like. And automatically they're thinking it's from DocuSign, and it really isn't. So again, like Bob was saying, if you're expecting it is one thing, and I would still probably contact the person or the business to verify that they did send it to you through DocuSign.
Okay, we have one more. How safe is Gmail?
Go ahead. I'll let you start. I'll finish.
Well, let's start by saying there's really no safe means for email. Email is what it is, regardless of what company or what account you're using. It's all on how you decide to handle it. Like, we've said in the presentation, be careful with who you're receiving these emails back and forth from. If you're expecting it is one thing, and if you're not, then to either just delete it, and if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they'll find their means to get in touch with you. We say that at work all the time, even using our own ionbank.com email addresses. If you weren't expecting it from somebody, then delete it, or follow up with that person to make sure that they're sending it to you. It just takes 2 seconds. Unfortunately, things have, it's a little inconvenience that we have to go through nowadays. Pick up the phone, call that person, find out, did you send this to me? Is this legitimate? Is it from you? Being inconvenient for a few minutes is better than having an inconvenience for a long time trying to fix something such as your credit or your identity later on.
So Gmail, all email, like Suzette said, is inherently could be dangerous. And it's my feeling that any email is as safe as the user,
Yeah.
whether the sender or the recipient. Coming from law enforcement, I am Gmail, what they do, and a lot of companies do now, and they claim it's for your privacy, they strip the sending IP address. So working in law enforcement, if I had an email address, I wanted to find out where it came from, the first thing I would look for is in what's called the header information, and it would tell me the sending IP address, and which basically could lead me right back to the person's house where it came from by doing search warrants. But Gmail strips that information out. So with that said, I mean, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and many others now. It's so many that I can't even say them all.
Yeah.
But what that does is it gives privacy to the person that sends it. That's what they claim. But also helps stop an investigation. So you have an email address, or email you got from someone, and it's legitimate. One of the things you can do yourself is to look at the header information, find that IP address, and run that IP. Does it come back to ABC company that it says it's coming from? Or does it come back from another country? But with Gmail and all these other ones, you can't do that. So, you know, pick up the phone, make that phone call. Did you send me an email? Is this the email from you? You know, again, if you have a company, try to get an email in your company's name. If you're a private person, find out if that email is legitimate, if it's coming from where it's saying it's coming from. It's impossible to do it. If the law enforcement has to find out, they have to do a search warrant for records with email or APs. And something else? Come on, people.
Bob, you were cutting out a little in between.
I have one that came in. Any preferences on antivirus software?
Well, unfortunately, Kaspersky used to be one of the probably better ones, but because of a lot of different issues that occurred with them, we don't really suggest them anymore. For personal use, you know, McAfee's always good out there. You have Avanti. There are several that you can actually Google, and it'll come up with the list of the top, you know, few that are the best. Again, if you have some sort of IT company that works or you utilize for your business, you can always find out from them what they're using, and things like that. It depends on the size of the business as well. For personal use, again, I mean, if you're shopping around, McAfee's a good one, Norton's a good one. It depends on what it is and how qualified, you know, how much knowledge you have to use it as well and to set it up.
So I'll give you my answer. I think a lot of them are pretty decent, but I realize I'm a retired cop, and free stuff, right? Free coffee, free donuts. Comcast, Optima, they all give you free antivirus. I have Comcast. They offer Symantec for free to me. I use that. You know, it doesn't matter what you pay for it. If you don't use it, if you don't update it, it's worthless. So mine's free. It updates nightly. It scans once a week for full deep scan, and it's in the background scan all the time. So,
And if you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, just check with your internet service provider and see if they offer a free virus scan.
And if you have Windows 10 operating system installed on your computer, it has a free version that's also very good. Any more questions?
There's one more. If a scammer sends a check by mail, how is the customer able to cash it if there's no money in the account first?
So if there's no money in whose account? In the customer's account, I imagine. So we take a check for deposit, and when we take the check for deposit, you are telling us that you know where that check came from and that you know the check's good. We make funds available right away as a convenience to our customer. We don't say the check cleared. We don't say the check's any good. We make the funds available. Usually after 3 or 4 days, if the check is not returned as unpaid for whatever reason, then the check is considered cleared, but it never really clears. The funds are only made available. A check can come back months later for various reasons where you're still liable for it. So if you take a check from someone, make sure you know who they are, especially a bank check, because a bank check is considered good as cash. Regulations require that we make the funds available to you within a day for a bank check. And that's why they counterfeit bank checks, because they know we can't put a hold on them unless we have real good reason. Right. So if you get a bank check and it's for a job offer, think twice. You know, we have people come in all the time and say, hey, I have this check for a job offer, and I have to send money back to someone. And the people in the branch will tell them, no, you're a victim of a scam. And we'll still do a due diligence for you. We'll put a hold on the check, on that deposit, you're going good, so you don't spend the money. And then either wait for the check to clear or reach out to the bank. If it's one of our, lack of better terms, cooperating banks. These bigger banks, and I don't want to mention any names, they don't cooperate with us. We can't call them up and say, can you let me know if this check was issued? The smaller banks, those banks our size or maybe a little bigger, we all work together and we'll help each other out. A phone call away I have for most of the people, the banks in Connecticut, except for the large banks. So we never know when a check is going to clear, if a check's good. It's, you know, we're giving that to you as a courtesy.
Anything else, Heather?
Do we lose Heather?
Sorry about that. Does
That's okay.
iBank have fraud alerts for scammers that may try to withdraw money from savings and checking accounts? For example, Costco Visa has several times caught someone trying to charge on my card.
Yes, we have the same. We have the same thing. We have on the debit cards, we have certain rules and alerts. We have in online banking. So your app for your phone, there's a card services section in there. You can set up different alerts. I have my alerts go, so any transaction that happens on my card, I'll get an alert. I'll get a text message, and if I did the transaction, I just ignore the text. But then, you know, I'll get the text, and if I didn't do it, and knock on wood, it hasn't happened to me. It's happened to my wife, where you go to use your debit card and it's locked out. My wife says, "Hey, let me take you out to dinner once," and we go to pay, and she couldn't pay because her card was locked out for fraud that happened on it. The phone call was home. The message was home. It wasn't our bank; it was another bank. But nowadays, you can get a text message, so you'll know. Again, never respond to a text message by giving your debit card number or your PIN number. Our text message will be, did you do this transaction? And it will tell you the transaction. If you don't feel comfortable replying back to that, pick up the phone and call the number on the back of your debit card.
Yep. We will never ask you for any kind of personal information.
Anything else, Heather?
That looks like it's it.
Okay. So if you should think of anything and you want to email Heather directly, she will definitely get the questions to us, and then we can respond back to you at a later date. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I hope that this was useful information and educational. And again, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to contact. Heather will facilitate the question and send it to us, or if you'd like to speak to any of us at any time, just let us know. We're here for you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Phone call away. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.